Welcome to Napoli, the home of the Napoli City Half Marathon. This is Glenn Latimer here in Napoli welcoming you for the special edition here on Sunday the 4th of February 2018 of this fine event, new in terms of development. It has previously been a smaller event, maximum 3,000 people. Now we have 6,000 runners and an additional exhibition event, a 5K. But the primary event to showcase this wonderful city is the half marathon, which will start shortly. You can see some scenes of the ancient city here. The history of this city is fascinating. And the new slogan, of course, is see Napoli and run, instead of the old saying which has negative connotations. This is clearly a beautiful city. It's a little bit fresh today, the 6 degrees. You see the runners now on the start line, everybody celebrating. A huge demand for this event, 6,000 runners filled to capacity. It will continue to grow, probably up to about 10,000 athletes finally, but it will be a gradual growth. Here's Stefano La Rosa, who is a carabinieri, the top Italian. Introductions of the top athletes there. This is the favorite in the women's race, Chite Eshete, who is 6th in the 2012 Olympic Games. And Antonina Kwambai, Antonina. She is given F1, so I think we'll have a good battle in that. In the women's side, Jana Mobley, who put the field together there on the right of the screen from the Run Check team. Norbert Keegan, first seeded in the men's race. And we have a very good field of men, but 4 very good Kenyans. There they are, you see Shadrach Kiplagat, they have their first names on the front, and we'll also give you the numbers. Number 5, Shadrach Kiplagat. Number 3, Felix Candy. Number 1, we already identified, Norbert Keegan. And number 6 is Abel Kipchumba. So 4 Kenyans we expect to be contesting things. They're going to try and break the course record from last year, which was 61:21, and I think they have a very good chance of that. The women's record is probably fairly soft from Eva Vrabkova from last year. It's 1:11:54, and we certainly have the athletes to break that. The top 2 athletes can certainly challenge that. We expect 3 main athletes in the women's half marathon. Antonina Kwambai is first seeded. She has a best of 69:49. Runners already on their way. Also, the favorite probably is Chite Eshete, 6th in the Olympic Games. She's got a best of 1:10:10, but she's a 2:25 marathoner, so she certainly has the strength. And then Olga Kotovska from the Ukraine, her best is 1:12:14. I think the top 3 will come from those 3. On the men's side, we mentioned the 4 Kenyans, Norbert Keegan, Felix Candy, and 2 young guys from the ex-Zane Branson company in the old in Belgrade. They're running for the Run Check team. That's Shadrach Kiplagat and Abel Kipchumba. So you'll see names on the fronts of the athletes to help you identify. The guys are going out at a very good clip. This looks quick to begin with. Meanwhile, you see there the different signs that are being held up, the pace groups for the citizen runners, different time goals for different people, so that they can try and meet their pace. It's a very flat course. There is a slight downhill early on, and then there's a slight climb at the end at 18 kilometers as they come back through one of the many tunnels here that come under the hilly city. These guys are going out what looks like a sprint to most of us, and they're going very, very hard. These two in front look more relaxed. The second two, Felix Candy and Norbert Keegan, look like they're working very hard to try and stay with the front through two of Abel Kipchumba and Shadrach Kiplagat. So you've got dark blue, which is Felix Candy there, and also Norbert Keegan, who is seeded number 1. And then the lighter blue of the run check team in front with the two Kenyan athletes, the very young boys, Abel Kipchumba and Shadrach Kiplagat. Guys listed as like in their early 20s. There you can see the seeded numbers. 1 Norbert Keegan. Oh, they're running through them all there. My reading ability is not that fast. Still the masses come. Take quite a time to, on a road that is 6 or 8 meters wide, 6,000 people, still takes a long time to clear the start line. And here we have the women. Antonina Kwambai there is leading from Shitai Eshete. We also have the exhibition 5K, which we'll see later. That's going to start in about 25 minutes. And yesterday, of course, there was a family run just for families, children to enjoy themselves and enjoy the whole experience. This race has been taken in new ownership with the forming of the Napoli running company, and they are copying some of the things that which some of the owners have already achieved in the Czech Republic with the Run Czech race series, 7 IAAF gold labels. Stefano La Rosa there on the left. He's the leading Italian. His best is 62:39, and he's a 2:11.11 marathon runner. Heading into one of the first tunnels. And that will take the athletes through down to the bay, the Gulf of Naples, and they get a wonderful view running alongside the bay here. Very picturesque city, obviously. And the tunnels provide a nice quick way to get through the hills, the many hills here. And the women not too far, behind some of the top men. If the women can break the 1:11:54 course record, then they're capable of running certainly under 1:10. That is stated ambition of the Jana Mobley and a group who put this field together. And I think people would be very happy with if they got under 1:10. Here's where there is a slight downhill as they go down through this tunnel, and when they come back through the same tunnel, they have to climb a little bit, but you're talking a matter of 20 or 30 meters climb. It's not a huge climb. So in essence, a flat, fast course. And very talented cameraman. They were able to get us a film from the tunnel. I remember years and years ago in Chicago, they went through a tunnel at the Chicago Marathon and they lost the picture. They didn't have the ability technically back then to get the picture out of the tunnel, and all the drama happened in the tunnel with somebody breaking away, Khalid Kanucci back then, I think. Nice aerial view there of the start. Some background here on some of the top runners. Norbert Keegan, runner-up at the Amsterdam Marathon on a personal best of 59.42. He's the favorite. And then the women, here are the core details on the top three. And we've already seen that Antonina Kwambai and Shete Ashete have broken away from Olga Kartovska. So the four Kenyan men who we expected to be the challengers are away here. There was a lot of wind and rain for the last few days. Not very pleasant weather as they head now towards the Gulf. But there was a really, really heavy rainstorm about 7 a.m. this morning before this 8:30 start. And the roads are just a little bit slick. You saw them going around that corner a little bit tentatively. Even with the very modern racing shoes that these guys have. They're all part of the sponsored athletes from Adidas here, but even so, it's very difficult to, on a good surface like this, even with a good surface like this, when it's rained, it just makes it a little bit slippery. You can see off in the background there, the whole of the Gulf and the bay. On this side, closest to the camera, Shadrach Kiplagat. On the far side, the smaller guy is Abel Kipchumba, and Norbert Keegan and Felix Candy just behind them. These guys are clipping along at a very, very good pace, what most of us would consider a sprint. Go past all the wonderful landmarks here, and some details for you on the screen about the different landmarks that we pass. Obviously filmed on a very sunny day, which we have partial sun today after the rain of the early morning. Get a very good perspective now when this camera drops in right behind the runners of just how fast they are moving. Normally you don't realize just how quick this is, but these shots at the side and just behind them. 10 minutes of running already into the race. There are plans for next year to have the Napoli City Seaside Marathon, which will be something very special, I think, running along the frontier for a marathon with more miles of seaside running than has ever been achieved anywhere else in the world. So I think it will be very special. Nice split screen now where you can see the two elite races going on. Our elite women not too far behind some very good men. Antonina Kwambai is pushing the pace, and Ashete Shitai is just very happy to sit behind her. She has really good credentials. Our Ethiopian-born Bahrainian. She now represents Bahrain. There's been some Well, it's frowned upon by a number of people who've been associated with the sport a lot, but countries like Qatar and Bahrain have essentially bought athletes from countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, and formed instant high-quality distance running teams by offering these athletes instant citizenship and a nice salary and bonuses for whatever they do in terms of performance. So the world distance running is that was allowed to go on by the international federations, and then now they've clamped down on it. But I think the horse already escaped from the barn, as they say. These guys all looking very fluid. Felix Candy looks a bit tight in the shoulders there, closest to the camera, just in the third position. The young guy on the far side, Abel Kipchumba, just looks really smooth, and tiny little guy. Shadrach Kiplagat has nearest the camera in the light blue vest, has 62.54 best, and Abel Kipchumba has a 63.10 best. And I would, from what we hear, they are both in way better shape than that and should smash their personal best today on this very fast course. As the chasing group, number 4 is Stefano La Rosa, 62.39. He's followed by Khalil Lamsier, who is Moroccan, who has a 64.02 PB. Obviously, young Abel Kipchumba and Shadrach Kiplagat are both feeling very good today. They're forcing the pace, and the two athletes from Volare Sports, number 1 and number 3, Keegan and Candy respectively, are working hard just to stay in the race. One of the many castles that Napoli is famous for. See some boats already, some, not boats, ships I guess, in the bay. Castel del Ovo, the oldest standing fortification. I think one of 7 castles in the area. Runners from all over the world who've come here to participate. Very international field. Runners from Poland, Moldova, Morocco. Quite an international group. A little bit of a gap, just a couple of meters, but that can be significant. Look how hard number 3, Felix Candy, is working just to stay in touch. The main aggressor in the field seems to be the young guy, Abel Kipchumba, number 6, on the far right, as we are leading from behind, as we are watching from behind. Number 5 is Shadrach Kiplagat. And now that couple of meters, suddenly it looks like it's stretching a little bit. Norbert Keegan is working very hard at the back of that group in 4th place. He's prepping for Boston Marathon in April, and it's It's an interesting but strange time of year with athletes who are preparing for spring marathons. They don't want to be too fit too early, because then they pass their peak and they come down the wrong side of the fitness slope. So he's probably not in the shape to win this race necessarily today, just looking for a strong performance. Now some cobblestones here, and that gets very slick after the rain. I saw them going around the corner a bit carefully, and that it does affect your footfall and your foot plant as you run on cobbles, and just have to grip a bit harder with the toes, and sets a bit of a strain. That couple of meters that we saw earlier, which was significant, has suddenly become 5 meters, and we have a breakaway now with Kipchumba and Kiplagat, who have just got a little bit of distance here, about 6.5 kilometers into the race, but that little bit of distance is very significant. At this sort of speed, it takes some catching. These two just floating along. Back to our lead women, and they get in some drinks. Even on a day like today, where it's not so warm but also humid, then it's still important to get some liquids and get refreshment. Still, Antonina Kwambai, the young girl, is leading. And Asheti Shitai is just very happy to just sit in there. Let the young one do the work. Smart move. Now, it's an interesting move by Asheti Shitai, just moving up and going past Antonina Kwambai, maybe just sending her a message that I've sat on you now, I'm going to make you work a bit. Let's see how they do going around the corner on the cobbles. The arms going out for some balance. Lovely upright running style there by Abel Kipchumba. He's very relaxed arms. Looks like he'll make a good marathoner runner down the way. And also Shadrach Kiplagat, also very comfortable on this side, number 5. There's a signal with the hands from Abel Kipchumba to his teammate, like, come here, stay with me. See cyclists do hand signals, flick of the elbow when it's time to come past and things like that. These guys are signaling to each other to stay and work together. They've dropped the other 2 Kenyan colleagues comfortably some distance back. Now Kiplagat made it to get back together, and then they can work together. And that 2 or 3 meters that we saw some distance back has become 50 meters fairly quickly. Stefano La Rosa and Khalil Lemsier are working together, back in 5th and 6th place. And our lead women probably not too far behind these guys. There you can see them on the right. Antonina's come back to lead again. But she's already received a message from Shetai that I'm just sitting on you, I'm waiting on you. Don't think this race is over yet. Some more cobblestones. $7K into the race for the women. Both athletes look very relaxed in their face. Here we've got the introduction of the athletes for the exhibition 5K. IAAF and the Road Running Commission, of which Carla Cabalbo, who's the race director here, is and the organizer, is the chairman of the IAAF Road Running Commission, and they've it's a new idea of exhibition 5K and trying to go over after world best times. So just a very small field. I think there are 4 men and 3 women, and they're just on a flat, fast course, trying to run very fast times and see what they can do. It's always, we've had world best times before at 5K. Now it's an official, going to be an official world record. So it will be interesting to see what these guys can do. But again, little slippery underfoot. It makes it difficult at the speeds they'll be going to get the best traction. These two just grinding away. The half marathon started at 8:30, and at 8:55, 25 minutes later, the 5K exhibition race will take place. I suppose down the road we'll still have the exhibition 5K distance for elites, but we'll also have citizen runners who want to begin running and do a shorter distance, doing 5Ks and 10Ks, things like that. You have to be reasonably fit to run a half marathon. It's a bit more of a serious undertaking. Okay, ready for the start of the 5K now, and off they go. Also a chance for some of the local Neapolitan runners here to run in very elite company. Something they wouldn't always get a chance to do, but they can line up and tell their friends they ran with some top international athletes from Kenya and Ukraine and Ethiopia and so on. 2 favorites in the men's 5K. When we come back to the men going past 9K there, it's still at a good pace. Still the aggressor is young Abel Kipchumba. In the 5K, when we come back to that in a minute, there's 2 races going on now. Jeffrey Koech is probably one of the favorites with Telehun Haile from Ethiopia, who just ran 7:45 indoors for 3,000 meters. So at the moment, the estimate is that they're running well under an hour for 59:14 is the projection. Pace projection. It will be interesting to see. They look relaxed. Of course, you can't tell what that transfers to later in the race. And they do have that hill on the way back to tackle at 18K, but only a short hill. But The 61:21 from last year as the course record certainly, I think, is in serious danger of being evaporated. Again, you saw the left hand come out there from Abel Kipchumba trying to tell his teammate Shadrach Kiplagat, get up here, get with me. And you see the previous course record, Philip Tarby from last year, 61:21. It's about the 50th edition of this race, but really the start of some new Napoli running. This group that's come in from the Run Check team and partnering with local race organizers here in Napoli and forming Napoli Running, and just raising quality and the presentation values of these events. Got several events, and it's interesting, Carlo Capalbo is himself a native Neapolitan, and he is very proud of his city, and he wants to showcase what this city is and dispel some of the myths and negative things that are said about his city. So he's trying to do something very positive, which is a very nice thing and a wonderful thing. Here you see the women's past winners, and last year the course record by Eva Vrabkova of 1:11.54. But that will, I think, tumble today with these two. Chete here is just very happy to move ahead. The men passed 10K in 28:04, which is clipping along very nicely. And promises very well for a chance to try and dip under 1 hour. I know that is sort of the superb mark of excellence these days. 28:08, sorry, correct that. But Jana Mobley there on the motorbike, who put these elite fields together and does that for the Run Check race series, is very successful at finding young athletes and giving them the opportunity to race and to step up into the next level of competition. This young man looks like he could go away if he wasn't waiting for his teammate. So 28:08, Kiplagat with him, and 14 seconds back then, 28:22 to Keegan, and even further back to Felix Candy, who looked like he was working hard all the time. It's like a yo-yo effect you've got here with number 5, Shadrach Kiplagat. He drops back and then he comes back again, tries to get with his teammate Abel Kipchumba, but all the way in this race the aggressor has been Abel Kipchumba. He's been forcing the pace, and it's an old saying in running that you always want to back the aggressor, the one who is the most aggressive in the race, and sometimes in a race like this it doesn't always apply in the marathon, but it certainly applies in shorter distances. The aggressor is often the one that shows that they're full of running, and that's certainly the case with number 6, Abel Kipchumba. So if you're going to pick a winner at this early stage, you'd pick the most aggressive one, which would be number 6 there, Abel Kipchumba. Now the surface is much better. Looks like they just laid some fresh Mondo there or something. That's wonderful. See still the standing water on the side of the road and between the tram tracks. The standing water was from this really heavy downpour early this morning. When it rains in Napoli, it really rains. Just under a minute back to the chasing group in 5th and 6th place. Always lovely when you are on your way out there and you're running as hard as you can, and you look across to the other side and wave to the Kenyan athletes who are just floating along like it's nothing. But also, it's one of the special things about distance running is you can compete with the super elite. If you are a basketball player, you don't usually get on the court with Michael Jordan, but you do have a chance here to be in the same event as your superstar favorites. Women still the two together, as we expected. Antonina Kwambai wearing F1, and F2 is Shete Shitai. Shete has some serious credentials from the Olympics in 2012, where she ran 30:47 for 10,000 meters. So that is some serious athlete, obviously. Antonina Kwambai is more of a distance runner, 69:49 half marathon. Has that little feet that sort of flick out a little bit. She runs at sort of 10:2, as they say. And the lead women starting to catch some of the very good men. Some of the 6,000 participants this year, a huge growth in the event. I think the participation grew by some 35 to 40%, and the demand is certainly there. There's people showing up this morning hoping to get in the race, and of course it doesn't work that way. You must get registered, and a lot of people now register online, and it's the normal mode. Guys past 12K. Little tentative again around the corner with the slick surface from the rain. And then some cobbles. So to run this fast, to be going 28:08 at 10K, even with surface like this, shows the course is very flat and fast, but foot surface in some places, the rain slows it a little bit, and underneath, and then just the cobblestones don't make for the best running surface. Doesn't seem to be hindering these guys too much. View of one of the many wonderful churches in Napoli. Again, Abel Kipchumba, number 6, just looks like it's his race, and he's just invited his friend Shadrach Kiplagat to come along for a little bit, but he's the one who's full of running and certainly shows a lot of promise for the future. Friend there, Giancarlo, on the motorbike taking photos, famous international photographer. That's the Piazza del Municipio, the Municipal Plaza. Hard work for number 5, just to try and stay in touch with his teammate there. This is a runner for the future, I think. We don't know much about him, Abel Kipchumba. He's got 28:06 as a 10K PB and only a 63:10 half marathon PB, but I think that's going to get shattered today. was only 2 seconds off his personal best at the split in this race from his personal best 10K time. So obviously in great shape, and great shape early. I'm sure we'll see something of him running in some of the Run Check race series later this year. It'll be interesting to see what he does in the Prague half marathon, for example. See what sort of time he can produce there. I would imagine he'll certainly be capable of going well under 1 hour there. He's still on pace to do that here, but he has the hill to contend with at 18K, and it looks like he's going to be running on his own. His teammate Shadrach Kiplagat is just struggling to stay with him. Wonderful piazzas everywhere. Past 13K on our way back. Naples is a fascinating city in that it just seems to have life all the time, and at night nobody seems to go to sleep. Everybody's out. Last night cars everywhere, and the Neapolitan way of driving cars is fascinating, and motorcycles and scooters, and I'm surprised there aren't more pedestrians killed every day the way the motorcycles go here. They go at great speed in very narrow roads and seem to have no regard for the pedestrians. But here in 3rd and 4th place, this is the 5K now. This is Jeffrey Koech leading in the 5K from Tillahoon Hiley. So Tillahoon Hiley is the taller one, and they're very close now to the finish. So Jeffrey Koech, a 13:28:07 5K guy, very close to the finish of the 5K. Jeffrey Koech into the final straight now, and putting a good sprint in to get away from Tillahoon Regassa. Doesn't look like. Wonderful finish with the fountains behind, very picturesque. And 58:59, right on 14 minutes as they finish. Jeffrey Koech, our winner, Tillahoon Hiley in 2nd. Congratulated by his manager, Gerard van der Veen. Meanwhile, back in the half marathon, Abel Kipchumba, who has led virtually all the race and seems to be very comfortably away now. Still projecting at 14K, with 7K to go, still projecting that the finishing time will be 59:41, still on pace to go under 1 hour. We'll see if all this leading on his own will take its toll or not. I think the 61:21 course record is seriously in jeopardy. That will go. La Rosa still there in 5th with Khalil Lemche just behind him. Here's our first woman in the 5K. That's young Daisy Jepkemei, who was the World Junior Champion at Steeplechase in 2012 in Barcelona. She looks very comfortable. Coming into the finish in what will be, as it's a new event officially recognized, this will be a new world best unless somebody breaks it later this year. She doesn't look too out of breath. Meanwhile, getting close to 15K, Abel Kipchumba just cruising along. About 16:04 there for Daisy Chepkamai. There's Yulia Shmatenko, who comes in second place. 5K. Back on the golf front here. A solo performance by our leader, Abel Kipchumba, is floating along. It's 15K, 42.20. And still projecting under an hour, 59:35. Really is a mark of excellence to run under an hour. There's some talk of one day that they'll run under. This is Filomena Palamba from Italy, the Italian runner in the women's 5K, just finishing off. Chance for her to run with some superstars, so she's probably very proud of this moment. So the guy who looked great from the beginning, who was the one pushing the pace, trying to encourage somebody to come and run with him, but his teammate Shadrach Kiplagat was struggling to do that. Now he's got the race to himself. Doesn't look like he's weakening at all. And now the interesting thing is Abel against the clock. Can he really break an hour? Further back, these two, 5th and 6th place. Lemsier, Kalel Lemsier from Morocco is the one who's trying to push it a little bit, and Stefano La Rosa just staying there together with him. So somewhere between the front runner, Abel Kipchumba, then Shadrach Kiplagat in second, then we in third and fourth we have Norbert Keegan, who was seeded number 1, and Felix Candy, who was seeded number 3, and these are 5 and 6 place. Again, velvety smooth for Abel Kipchumba. This is a guy somewhere down the road. We will see him move to the marathon, and it will be very interesting to see what he can do. With that style, he's very smooth. I think he can run a very good marathon. Over on the right of the screen, you see our lead women rejoining the Gulf by one of the castles, and still together. Antonina Kwambai and Shitai Eshete. And those two some serious distance ahead of anybody else. Third place runner at the moment is Olga Kotovska of the Ukraine. There you see the world record, Jocelyn Jepkoskai, 64.51, amazing times. And already we've had very fast times this year in Houston with the loaded field, under 107. Here you see the fastest time this year in the middle by Jake Robertson from New Zealand in Houston, and the course record, and of course the world record by Zerzenet Tedeschi. I was saying about Abel Kipchumba moving to the marathon, but it doesn't always translate that somebody who's good at the half marathon is a very good marathon runner. Zerzenet Tedeschi from Eritrea has tried many times to run the marathon, and you would think if you can run 57 something for a half marathon that you could run a brilliant marathon, and he's yet to do that. It's sometimes, even though he has the style to be a good marathon runner, it's a bit of a mystery. But, now we're in the tunnel for our leaders, and that is where it climbs slightly. It was a slight drop of about 25 meters on the way out, and now he's going to climb back up as he approaches 18 kilometers. This is in this tunnel, it's a slight climb. May just slow him a little bit. It's kind of weird being in a tunnel running anyway, and then if you add the climb, we'll see if that has any effect on him and his pace. He was still projecting at 59.35 a couple of kilometers back, so let's see where he's at now. He's chasing 5th and 6th place past 16 kilometers. Meanwhile, more than a kilometer ahead is Abel Kipchumba, already in the tunnel and starting the climb towards the finish area. It's a good battle for 5th and 6th. These two have been working hard together. They're busy calculating how much running they've got to do. 14 or 15 minutes left, and how do I feel? Runners, they just test each other. They come and try and push a little bit, see if they can get a couple of meters on the other one, listen to the breathing. If they hear that the breathing is labored, they push a little bit harder, try and get away. This is Lemsier trying to get away at this point from Stefano La Rosa. Here's the end of the climb for Abel Kipchumba coming out of the tunnel. Got 10 minutes of running, just under, if he's going to break an hour. Still looks good, but he's obviously climbing just there. That will slow him a little bit. We'll see what the next projection is. And meanwhile, La Rosa and Lemsier enter the tunnel. Get him back on a flat surface, and Abel Kipchumba looks better now after that hill. And the women's race on the right. Shete in the striped vest, and in the dark blue is Antonina Kwambai. It's great to watch the face of the man running with the two elite women. He's working really hard just to stay with them. The women approaching 16K, so they're not too far. We just saw the 5th and 6th places there, so these women are probably top 10 overall or something close to that. And projected at 108.39 for the women with that split at 16K, which is terrific running. If they manage to hold on to that sort of pace, then that is an awesome performance on this course. So we have the men trying to break 1 hour with 7 minutes left of running, and the women going under 109 at the moment, with 2 together, which is just amazing, seeing as the course record is 111.54. They have a chance of some 3-minute improvement and a world-class time. La Rosa and Lemsier getting towards the end of the tunnel to exit. Abel Kipchumba here away, just having a little glance if anybody's in the vicinity, but apparently not. It's a 23-year-old runner with lots and lots of promise. Now you can see Sao Paulo Stadium, where famous Napoli play, very close to where we are at the finish line. The place where Maradona played, if you know your football. Distance to go under 2 kilometers now. It's very close for him to see if he can break an hour. The course record of 61.21 will be demolished. No sign of his teammate there, Shadrach Kiplagat, must be some way back. Nice aerial view there of the Sao Paulo Stadium where Napoli play. Currently leading the Italian Premier Division. And in an interesting development, if you can peer through the mist there in the tunnel, is that Chite Ashedi has broken away now from Antonina Kwambai as they climb this hill in the tunnel. It's kind of a spooky camera shot, but some real action going on there. And the times were projected at well under 69 minutes. And the women have just under 4K to go. And there's the leader. 6 in the Olympics with a 30.47 PB for 10,000 meters means you are a very serious, high caliber athlete. And she used this hill inside the tunnel to her advantage. Meanwhile, we hope less than 4 minutes of running left for our leader, Abel Kipchumba. Turning into the park, towards the fountains. He still looks smooth, he still looks comfortable. Doesn't look troubled. The fact that he's had to run on his own for the second half of the race will have had a factor, but he's running high quality performance here. $20K, right on 57 minutes. So now they're projecting just over an hour. So he did slow in that tunnel, and he did slow running on his own. So they're projecting he'll be just outside an hour with that. And you can see from his first 10K was 28:08, and his second 10K was 28:52. So the second half he did slow. Maybe paid the price for the going hard early on. Stefano La Rossa there, managing to get away. So just over 2 minutes of running, if that projection is right, for our leader, who has done all the work all the way in this race, Abel Kipchumba. Nobody could live with him. This is an athlete, a name to remember, Abel Kipchumba. Let's see what he does later this year. I think he's somebody who will run, and he's running a 3-minute personal best today for the half marathon. Obviously hasn't run too many half marathons, but I think he will probably, if he doesn't run under an hour today, he will do in the future. There's the chaser, Antonina Kwambai, chasing Shitaya Shedi from Bahrain. They have, there's 18K, so just over 3.1K to go. And that's a sizable breakaway now by our winner in waiting there, Shitaya Shedi. She really put the hammer down in that tunnel and got away. And our men's winner coming down the ramp from the fountains. There's a slight right and then left into the finishing straight. And second place there, just got round the corner, so not too far behind is Shadrach Kiplagat. Moving well now. You can see the clocks now, and you can see it just ticking past an hour. There goes the hour now. So he's just outside. Just outside there. 68:10, 68:11, something like that. And his teammate coming in right behind him now. Worked hard all the way, Shadrach Kiplagat. .60:35. So top two, well under the course record, the old course record of 61:21. This is Norbert Keegan in third. He was seeded number one and has a 59:42 PB, but probably a little bit early for him. He's preparing for Boston Marathon in the middle of April, and you don't want to be too fit right now. So he's showing he's in good shape. This should translate well for him as he comes down to the finish for a good performance in Boston. That's 61.42, 61.43, so interesting to see what he feels about that in his preparations as he prepares for Boston. 1, 2, 3 there. Champion Abel Kipchumba. Felix Candy just finished in 4th place. It's a replay of the finish of Abel Kipchumba. New course record, the first 2 both breaking the course record, which is terrific. A real step up for this race, this event, to have that caliber of performance. I think if he'd had some company at the end, if Shadrach Kiplagat had been able to stay with him, then we might have had a good chance of breaking the hour. That didn't happen today, just outside, but you never complain when you get course records, and you don't complain when you get performances like that. Stefano La Rosa, the first Italian, coming in now. It's nice to run down this section here. They come down through the park and down past the fountains. There is bonus money for the first Italian, as well as the Open Division prize money and time bonuses for performances if people can break an hour or 1:11 in the women's race. So incentives by performance. Rossa managed to get away from Camille Lemsier. They ran together for a long time, till about 16K, and then in the tunnel, Lemsier working hard behind him, but not going to catch him. Stefano La Rosa in about 64.24. About 10-12 seconds behind him is Camille Lemsier. So that's 5th and 6th place. And now we await our women's leaders, and that will be interesting because here she comes, Shitai Eshedi. Remember the course record, 1:11.54, and she's currently on pace to go under 1:09, which will be absolutely world class. But you'd expect that from somebody who is a 6th place finisher in the Olympic Games at 10,000 meters. Really working hard, striding hard. The ex-Ethiopian, now Bahrainian. They took it in turns a little bit, but mainly the early leader was Antonina Kwambai. But then when they got in the tunnel, they're about 17K. Away went one runner in between the top 6 as 7th place, and then I think we're going to see our first woman inside the top 10. Once they got in.
You are the winner of Naples half marathon. What do you think about your race?
I see the weather was good. The road was fine, no silent, no. The people were cheering me. I was get proud, so that I get pressure to push. When the people were cheering me, Abel, I go.
Okay.
Yes.
And Naples, do you like Naples?
What?
Do you like Naples, city of Naples?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You see?
You see, I was. This fantastic.
It's fantastic. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's the times. 60-12 officially for Abel Kipchumba, 60-34 for Shadrach Kiplagat, 61-43 for Nova Keegan, 62-04 for Felix Candy, and first Italian Stefano La Rosa. So now we await the women, and we're going to see a course record. The crowd will see some high caliber performance here from Shite Shede, and also Antonina Kwambai is running very fast also. So I think we might see both of them under the old course record. There's the lead motorcycle. You can see at the top of the picture. And here comes Shitai Shede. Very picturesque finish. I do like this finish area. Jump to the left, straight down, and then to the right, and then one more left down to the finish. And into the finishing straight for a sprint down to the finish. And you've just seen the course record absolutely demolished here. 1:11.54. Completely shattered with what looks like about 1:08.40. See what the officials give her in the end. Not too far behind her should be, here she comes now, finishing just over 69 minutes, 69:08, something like that. That's Antonina Kwambai, also way under the course record. So 2 men under the old course record and 2 women so far under the old course record. Last we heard in 3rd place was Olga Kotovska from the Ukraine. A replay of Shete's finish as she breaks the record. What a very good time. Looks like about 68:38 there, but we'll see what the official time is shortly. And we'll hear from our lead woman shortly, get her views on the race. There's Antonina Kwambai finishing.
Think about your race.
Nice. This is the race nice for next competition, World Half Marathon. This competition for prepare half marathon. Today I am happy.
You are happy? And your time is very good.
Yeah, this is my personal best. I am also happy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
I love it when they say how happy they are and they never smile, but anyway, that's a personal thing. But a great performance today, and she's clearly, the next step for her is at the end of March when she's going to go to Valencia for the IAAF World Half Marathon Championships and to try and perform. If she's in this sort of shape, she should do very well indeed. Nice crowd at the finish, encouraging the runners. And only about 6,000 more finishers to come. This has been very successful, I would suggest, today. A serious upgrade in this event in terms of its presentation value, in terms of the caliber of the elite fields, the fact that we've had course records, 2 athletes on men, 2 athletes on women's side breaking course records. A serious upgrade in the whole presentation of the event, and a wonderful showcase really for Napoli and Napoli running to show what is possible in this city. Carlo Capalbo's idea and concept to try and showcase the city in a very positive light. I think it's a wonderful aim, and I think they've taken a serious step forward in doing that today. It's his 3rd place woman coming in now. This is Olga Kotovska from the Ukraine. She's running a good time today, but not in the caliber of the sub 69 and the just fractionally over 69 for our front 2. The 3rd place about 1:14:30, so she's some nearly 6 minutes behind the leader. So now we're going to have another interview with our top runners. Yeah, this is a replay of Olga Kotovska there finishing in 3rd place. But seriously, now we get the award ceremonies. This is the 5K award ceremony. 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Exciting moment for young Alessandro Lombardi to stand on the podium with Jeffrey Koech and Tilahoon Haile. Alessandro Lombardi there, local runner, very happy to be in 3rd place. Tilahoon Haile in 2nd, and the champion was the 1st seed Jeffrey Koech. The time 14 even, 14:00, 14:01 and 16:37, so not quite the times that the organizers expected today, but I think the slippery conditions underfoot probably affected that. But anyway, those are the marks that have been set for 2018. And some very nice trophies for the athletes to take home. Put plant on the mantelpiece. Put candy in when they stop running, and then we'll see our women's top 3 shortly in their award ceremony. And there, the top 2. Good performance from Daisy Chepkamai. Good performance by Jeffrey Coach today to beat Tillahoon Hiley, who just ran, I think, 7:45, 7:47 indoors for 3,000 meters, so obviously in shape. Playing the Kenyan national anthem now. Something you usually hear a lot of in the Olympic Games. So we'll have award ceremonies here for the 5K men and women, and then the award ceremonies for the half marathon. Course records on the half marathon side. The fountain's in full flow now. Beautiful backdrop. Great finish area with that fountains behind. And some of the 6,000 runners in the half marathon starting to come in now, and they'll be coming in for several hours to come yet. I was saying that Carlo Capalbo had one terrific challenge on when he said, I want to do an event in Napoli, my hometown, and to change the attitudes and the culture about the city. That is an interesting and fascinating goal, to show it in a positive light, that positive things can happen. Especially running is a great sport to do that. Here we can see the top 3 in the women's race. Third is local runner Filomena Palamba. Second was Yulia Shmatenko from the Ukraine, and the winner Daisy Chepkamai from Kenya, who's 2012 World Junior Steeplechase champion. So, high caliber athlete there. They'll get their medals now and their trophies. Chance for the people, while they wait for the finishers in the half marathon, to see some world-class athletes running an exhibition 5K. And so the fastest times to date this year. And we'll see what else transpires in the year as people try and run different 5Ks now as an officially recognized world record distance. So a great upgrade for the city, for this event, to have this caliber of athlete and these performances, especially in the half marathon. It was wonderful today with high caliber performances on both sides, and athletes that have been identified early in their career as having great talent on the men's side. There's, I think Gianna Mobley's done well to find Abel Kipchumba, who did very well to win and win comfortably, and we'll look forward to what he does later this year. I'm sure he was just 60.08 today, and I think he'll go well under an hour the next time he races at the half marathon distance. The different sponsors there on the left on the backdrop board. Presenting sponsor Corona. Playing the Kenyan national anthem again. Certainly the Expo was a new and welcome addition, and the quality of that exhibition, chance for other races to promote and for the athletes to do their packet pickup and see their friends and learn as they go, various exhibits for them to learn. Now the runners come in thick and fast, men, women, all different ages. Hotels this morning were full of athletes, all excited, and downtown yesterday you could see runners, people looking fit in tracksuits and running shoes, enjoying this city, and a great destination city as well, to come and stay in a positive, see the city in a positive light, to enjoy its energy, I think is the best word to describe the city. It seems to come alive, not usually before midday, but then if you can keep your wits about you and crossing the street, that's a major life challenge to cross the street here. But the idea of driving and rules is not something that's been fully grasped, that we have order in parking or driving, and not for the faint-hearted, certainly, driving in this community. Okay, now we got the men's half marathon. Third place, Norbert Keegan. Second, Shadrach Kiplagat, who also broke the old course record. And our champion today, cruising through, Abel Kipchumba. Certainly an athlete for the future, I would suggest. See him later this year in the half marathon, but I think it will also be good to see him in the marathon later on. He's only young, but when he moves to the marathon, he might be a danger. He has a very smooth, velvety smooth style, and that is what it takes, minimum expenditure of energy when you're going to be a good marathon runner. Nice big trophies. Try getting on the plane with that. So there's the official times. 60:12, new course record. 60:34 in second place, also under the old course record. So top two under the old course record. We have one more presentation ceremony after we have the Kenyan national anthem again. That will be the presentation for the women, where the top two also broke the old course record. And hopefully somebody has managed to find the Bahrainian national anthem. Not sure I've ever heard that, but for Shedi, very good performance today. So people will be writing about the ease with which Abel Kipchumba won this race. Early on you saw him gesturing with his left hand for his colleague Shadrach Kiplagat to come up here, come and help me, but it was more than Shadrach could do at that point, and it was just a solo show in the end for Abel Kipchumba. Now the streets really getting full of runners as they 6,000 people come streaming down, and it's always fun to watch them finish, the excitement on the faces as they marker. You see them finish with their you can see them celebrate as they finish with arms in the air and celebration. Everybody's performance. It's an individual sport, obviously, but also the camaraderie of taking part in events like this. And the density, now the women's top three. Olga Kotovska in third, second Antonina Kwambai ran 69.07 under the old course record, and our champion in a new course record 108.38 by Shitai Eshede. Absolutely fabulous. So high caliber running today on the women's side, world-class stuff. And this is something new for Napoli running to present to the community, that here you can have high caliber production values in an event, and you can have a high caliber race, and you can have a great experience for all the participants on a safe, controlled course. The trophies. The official times, the top two under the old course record of 1:11.54, way under it, absolutely shattered it, and a terrific day for all here in Napoli at the Napoli City Half Marathon. 5th edition of the race, but the second under the well, really the first this year under the guidance of the team from Runcheck and their leader Carlo Capalbo. Number of their key staff are here to assist with the team, with Napoli running, as they learn how you put on an event of this caliber and how you consistently present high values. So it's good for Napoli, it's good for the city to see an event like this, to see what can be done, and it certainly presents Napoli in a very positive light, which is the initial goal. So I would say a successful day for all. Nice aerial view now of our finish area. hills of Naples and the Gulf, one of many gulfs here around the bays, around the city, across to Vesuvius. Okay, so we've enjoyed our visit to Napoli City Half Marathon. This is Glenn Latimer signing off from a very successful Napoli City Half Marathon 2018.
About Naples and Naples City Half Marathon.
Well, it's my first visit to Naples, and of course it lives up to all the hype and all the great publicity it has. It's a fascinating city. I had a chance yesterday to walk around the old town, and it's just a unique place.
Yeah, and what do you think about the athletes of today?
Very good athletes here. This is a unique project. Carlo Capalbo has come back to his hometown to develop Napoli running, and this race is fascinating. The position on the calendar is excellent to be before all the big spring marathons, so we have very good caliber athletes who are preparing for things like Boston Marathon later in the year, and I think they will run very well today. The weather has finally stopped raining, the streets are a bit wet, but if the temperature is good, I think we have very good times today.
Yeah, in Naples we ran from 5 kilometers to 54 kilometers ultramarathon. Is a good project for you?
It's a fascinating project, just what has been possible here. I think we're going to see the climb of these events in the next few years be amazing. Already we have 6,000 people ready to start now, which is fabulous. And this race will grow, controlled growth, but it will grow very well. And the demand for this race will be exceptional.
Yeah. And what do you think about Italian runners?
I think they're very good. The history of Italian distance running is excellent all the way through, from some of the greats, my old friend Stefano Baldini, Massimo Magnani. I could go on with all these great guys. And the young ones must live up to that history, that tradition.
Okay, thank you. Siamo con Alessio Punzi, responsabile strada per conto della IAF, la Federazione Mondiale di Atletica Leggera. Cosa ne pensi di questa Napoli City Half Marathon e quale futuro internazionale può avere?
Grazie Cesare, è un progetto molto interessante e molto bello. A livello internazionale anche grandi organizzatori quali New York Roadrunners oppure London Marathon solitamente non escono mai dal confine della propria città o della propria provincia, non è un prodotto replicabile all'estero, in altra posizione. Quella di Carlo è una grande sfida e probabilmente sta riuscendo a mettere insieme un aspetto locale, mantenendo i legami con il territorio, con l'internazionalità dei suoi eventi come organizzati a Praga. A livello internazionale questa gara è sicuramente promettente. Io la prima volta che sono qui mi è stato detto che il percorso è rapido, il parterre, la partenza è di tutto rispetto, poteva essere ancora meglio se non ci fosse stata quella defezione l'altro giorno. Insomma siamo contenti. Carlo ci ha abituato a standard molto alti, con le gare in Repubblica Ceca ha preso diversi riconoscimenti IAF e non vedo perché non debba riuscirci con Napoli già probabilmente dall'anno prossimo.
Siamo con Franco Fava, un grande atleta nel passato, un giornalista affermato per Corriere dello Sport. Franco, cosa ne pensi di questa Napoli City Half Marathon?
Beh, è un'iniziativa che merita di essere incoraggiata, è un'iniziativa molto importante in una città che ha a cuore la corsa amatoriale, la corsa di massa. È un'edizione che sicuramente avrà un ottimo successo grazie anche alle condizioni atmosferiche che sono favorevoli e grazie a un campo di partenti di primo ordine che non ha nulla da invidiare alle classiche mezze maratone, soprattutto europee, quelle già più tradizionali. Non dimentichiamo anche che accanto a questa mezza maratona di massa con oltre 6.000 partecipanti, che per Napoli è un grandissimo successo, ci sarà anche una 5 km praticamente inedita, su una distanza inedita, che da quest'anno viene riconosciuta anche come record del mondo a livello sia maschile che femminile, quindi è una manifestazione nel suo genere innovativa, proprio perché associa queste due distanze che sono tra le più praticate accanto a quella dei 42 km della maratona.
Questo programma è presentato dai partners della Napoli City Half Marathon.